Well, we've got Toby Cadman joining us now from Dubai, an international criminal lawyer who's currently working for some of the Syrian opposition groups who are filing legal action against the government. Short question to start with, and maybe you can just simplify this for us. How do you bring legal action against a government like Syria, which, as we pointed out since March, has, according to the UN, killed 3,000 of its own people?
Well, good morning. There are, of course, a number of different steps that can be taken. We are looking at, first of all, civil actions against the administration both in the US, where we have 2 civil complaints currently filed in the federal courts, and we're also looking at legal action in the United Kingdom and across Europe. These effectively are claims for compensation for acts of what we would broadly categorize as international crimes, torture, crimes against humanity. There are, of course, also the wider legal action that can be taken by international bodies. We are obviously talking to the United Nations through the International Criminal Court and also through the Human Rights Council.
Okay, so let me ask you about,
close contact.
If you don't mind, sorry to interrupt, ask you about particularly the United Nations and the ICC, because, you know, Syria, the whole Syria situation has been marked by its inaction from those groups, unlike what we saw, for example, in Libya. Are you actually hopeful of getting anywhere down that path?
I think the tide is changing. Perhaps when we were looking at a couple of months ago, it was looking far more difficult to have any kind of representation within the United Nations, be it a Security Council resolution for investigating Assad and his regime, but also from the Human Rights Council side. We are more optimistic. Unfortunately, we're optimistic because of how low or how bad matters have become, particularly in Homs. I'm actually in Washington and New York later this week to further discussions, and I'm very, very hopeful that we will be able to establish greater groundwork and actually get the United Nations.
You're representing a couple of different Syrian groups outside of the country. How important is it to get some cohesion, not just between them, but to get a real opposition going? I know there's the Syrian National Council, as they call themselves. Is it strong enough to put some force behind what you're trying to do?
Well, certainly. I think you've focused on what is essentially at the moment the most important point, that we are trying to bring as many of the groups together as possible. The more groups that we have acting in unity, the stronger our cause is going to be. And it is right that having a strong political opposition is what is required right now. The Syrian Emergency Task Force, who I'm instructed by, who have engaged my services primarily, that is one of the things we're looking at, working with the Syrian National Council to propose a strong political opposition, because that, at the current stage, that's what's lacking.
Toby Cadman there, international criminal lawyer, joining us from Dubai. Really interesting talking to you. Thank you.